Hi, this is Chris from barabove.com, and today we're going to be exploring the current trends in mixology and also taking a look at some of the new standards that are out there. So stay tuned. One of the new trends that we're seeing in the market right now is mainly focused on how we deliver our cocktails to our guests. So pre-batch cocktails are becoming a brand new trend out there. So like Canon, what they do is actually bottle carbonate batch cocktails so they can give those to their guests tableside, pour them there, or if you're in a busy bar, you can have that in your back pocket. When 15 people walk up and say, what do you recommend? We got these really great drinks. They're in this really cool bottle. They're fantastic. I highly recommend them. And it cuts down on your execution time. And that's a really fun thing. The other thing is, the other place that comes to mind is a place called Jasper's Corner in San Francisco. And what they're doing is really unique and different. And they're following the same path that wine has taken over the last couple of years, where they're getting delivered in kegs. So what they'll do is actually pre-batch a bunch of Negronis and put that on their tap in a keg. So in the same philosophy, in a busy bar, something you're really proud of, that's something that you can do, with very little effort and still have a really cool, amazing wow factor to it. One of the other trends that we're seeing in the market now is a lot of these high-end bars are complementing their amazing cocktails with equally amazing soda program. There's quite a few of them out there doing it right now. Slanted Door is definitely one of the players that has started this. And also there's an entire restaurant, or I don't even know if you would call it a bar, that started about a year and a half ago in San Francisco called Ice Cream Bar. And they're mainly focused on these old soda fountain style sodas and creating this really cool experience based off of that. So definitely keep an eye on those trends. So one of the new techniques that are out there right now that's making its way through the mixology community is a technique called nitro infusion. So essentially what you're doing is you're cutting down the amount of time that an infusion takes from hours, days, months, down to literally seconds or minutes. And how you do it is you put your ingredients that you want to infuse in here with your alcohol. You're going to close this canister down. You're going to add one nitro charge to it, and then give it a good shake. You're going to then add one more nitro to it and just let it sit for a couple of minutes. Give it a couple shakes as well. And then, like I said, just release the pressure, open up the canister, and you're done. So this gives you a lot of freedom and a lot of flexibility to concept out drinks and create bitters on the fly and infusions very, very quickly. So it's a really very powerful technique to have and master behind the bar. Another trend we're seeing these days is just the quality of the tools that we have at our disposal is definitely increasing. This is just a few examples of what's out on the market right now, from the Uri mixing glass, where you see everywhere in San Francisco on all the major cocktail bars. It's actually called that for the Uri pattern that's cut into the glass. We have all kinds of new bar spoons. This is just to show the example of where we were in the beginning when I started tending bar to where we're at now, seeing some of the Trident spoons, and one of my personal favorites, the Alessi bar spoon. We have a improved look on some of the vermouth spritzers and bitters and tincture spritzers, and even the strainers that are out on the market now have definitely elevated in both appearance and function. One good place to take a look for any kind of high-end bartending gear is cocktailkingdom.com. It is a collection of the finest tools out there for what we do, from Lewis bags to mixing rods to all kinds of shakers. So I highly encourage you to visit their site, www.cocktailkingdom.com. Vermouth has gained a lot of traction over the last few years in the mixology community, mostly due with the fact that classic cocktails have become so popular recently. It has afforded the bartenders an opportunity to get hands-on with these products and really gain a lot of knowledge on how to utilize them. I remember when I first started tending bar about 10 years ago, there was only a couple companies out there making quality vermouth. Back in 2000, that started to change when Via was released to the market, and was one of the first new vermouth companies out there. Now, over the last 2 years, there have been about 8 new vermouth companies started and distributing products, so you have that to look forward to. Now, if you're one of the mixologists or bartenders that like to create your own ingredients and own liqueurs and stuff, you can look to a gentleman by the name of Jackson Cannon who runs the Eastern Standard out in Boston. He's been known for his vermouth programs that he's been making over the last 2 years or so. So you can definitely look for him, look at what he's doing over there as a nice resources and a guide on how to do it yourself. So one of the newest techniques that I've seen out there that I'm really excited about, and I think is going to become a lot more popular over the next couple months, is a process called clarification. And this is actually a byproduct of the soda carbonating that we're seeing out there right now. And essentially what it is stripping away any of the pulp and color out of citrus juice to preserve the acidity but aid in cutting down the foaming of bottle carbonation. There's actually some people out there that have utilized this to make clear beverages. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm actually going to be exploring this technique here in the next couple posts. So I'll be very excited to see some of the benefits and drawbacks of them and be able to share that with you. So those are all the current trends out there. So some of the ideas and techniques that we've seen over the last few years develop in the mixology community, they're going to make the leap from hot and trendy to being the new standards in the bar. One of the best examples I can give you is when I first started attending bar, the hottest, newest idea was utilizing fresh juices. Seems kind of silly and common right now, but that was revolutionary back in the early 2000s. So that's what I mean by becoming the new standards in bar programs. So some of the new standards that I've seen develop in San Francisco and a couple other places in the country are the utilization of cocktail ice. And what I mean by that is the square ice that we see in high-end cocktail bars and restaurants. Some people have actually taken this to a whole nother level and got block ice, where they have to prepare the ice hours before service by chipping away with it, by chainsaws, and really taking a lot of care in their ice, which is really cool to see. So that's one of the new standards that have become popular in bars. The next one is that a lot of bartenders, and even crossing over into the distillation world, is that a lot of bartenders and distillers are sourcing a lot of their ingredients for drinks and distillates as close to home as possible. And it's really cool to see that people care about that kind of stuff and are trying to make every effort to be responsible and minimizing the carbon footprint that they're putting out there. So it's really cool to see that being one of the new standards out there. The last one that I see that has become one of the new standards is that bartenders are creating a lot of their products within house. So, obviously simple syrup and fresh squeezed juices and stuff, but even tinctures and bitters and vermouths, like the gentleman from Boston. So bartenders are elevating their craft within their own bar and restaurant, which is why we're all here. We love to learn, we love to experiment and have fun. So that is really cool to see. Some of the last trends I'll leave everyone with is something that I'm really excited to see, something that really means a lot to me and that I care a lot about, and that is take care of your guests. Don't be pretentious. We're not being rocket surgeons here. We're not brain scientists. We're not curing cancer. We're making cocktails. We're having people over, playing host, and creating an environment around us. And that was the message that I heard, and that's the message that I'd like to give everyone else: is have fun. This is a fun job. This is why we love doing what we do. We get to be creative. We get to be social. We get to be the life of the party. And, we should be having a great time every day we go into work. So, if we do that, then our guests are going to have a great time. And we're going to love our job even more. So that's it. I hope you guys have a great shift. And thank you for watching. And stay tuned. One of the things that we're going to be doing coming up here is we're going to go deeper into each one of these trends and give you as much knowledge and information that I'm capable of giving. So it's not going to be that much. But hopefully you'll stay tuned. So cheers. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, find us on Google+, or visit us at abarabove.com. Treat your customers right. Put the devotion into your craft, also into your customers. But don't put anything else into your customers unless they ask you to. This is what happens. This is what happens when it's late.